the power of a working altar. Okay, now this video is going to be quite in depth, and it's going to be like a bit of a mini masterclass because you can't rush through this. But I'm going to share with you how I have brought an altar into my life. Profound changes in my life, profound. It's brought my magic and power online. And it's essential, basically. If you want to move forward and you want to step into that absolute master, alchemist, conscious creator, you've got to have an altar. You have to start bringing the ancient wisdom for modern day living. Fact. Do you know what I mean? And I think that nothing's impossible, but I feel that it's going to be a hell of a lot easier and effortless when you bring the power of an altar in, because it just reflects back to your absolute power and mastery when you sit in front of it. And every day you sit in front of it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you'll be blown away as to what that portal can show you. But it does take you to be bothered to actually build it and be committed and dedicated to turning up to your temple every day, right? So the power of an altar. So I just want to kind of like speak about the powerlessness of not having one, right? So imagine, here's your life, right? Okay. And we're all feeling it. So no judgment, no shade. You know, there's not enough money around. Okay. There's not enough love to go around. You know, we might not look as thin as we want to, and we're absolutely miserable about it. Our health isn't great, or our beloved has not come along yet. Whatever could be deemed, it's all lack, isn't it? And it's all shadow. We do know that none of it is real. We understand what illusion is, but it's just, we're sat here and we just can't change it. So we say to ourselves, right, well, when I get to this place, when I get to Egypt with Marie, that's when it's all going to change for me. Do you know what I mean? Or when I get to, I want to go and travel there. And if I go to that sacred site or attend that group or whatever, or when my money comes, everything's going to change, and then I'm going to be able to get on my game. But the thing is, when you are thinking in that way, when I get there and when that happens, you're already in separation, right? So that doesn't matter how much you journal, how much you sit, and how much you sit in meditation. And let's keep it super real. Many of us meditate every single day. Many of us journal and everything like that. But it's something that's lost its power a little bit, because we meditate, mind's a little bit busy, right? We journal, we get fed up of that after a while. Maybe we're not as consistent as we should be, right? So we really want to roll our sleeves up like this, and we really want to get stuck into our power and have a sense and feel that we're in control of this fucking gig. Do you know what I mean? Because we are in control of this gig. And I think that that's where I want to deliver this video, to actually bring the illusion of that you are powerless to light, so we can move it away, and know that just by being sat where you are right now, you can leave this video and you can do this like now. So you are powerful, and there is a lot at your fingertips, lots of magic at your fingertips. As Mary Magdalene would say, hidden in plain sight, right? Everything is just so easy. We make it so complicated. So instead of waiting until you get to that sacred pilgrimage or trip to Egypt or whatever it might be, or say you want to get there, just look at it and go, fine, I can manifest that. I can manifest that. But it's going to take you to have, like, you can't go to the gym, right? You can't, if you want to lose weight and get fit and strong, you know what I mean? Paying for a gym membership, you do realize your body's got to go with it. Your body has to travel to the gym, and that membership you paid for, you've kind of got to meet it there. So I describe this as exactly the same. And once you start doing it, you will not stop. Today is the 2nd of October. It's a new moon. I have been cleaning all flipping morning. I have resurrected 2 altars, and I'm going to get into that just now, and I'm flipping excited because I know it works. In the beginning, I was doubtful, but now I've worked with it. I'm like, oh my God, and I'm going to share with you exactly why I know it works, okay? In a minute. So the purpose of an altar, all right, is to bring your power back. If you want to get to that place where you've got an abundance block or something like that, bring in your most powerful deity. Bring in 2 of them, bring in 3 of them, if you will, and work with them at your altar. You have the power to turn up every single day. No different to you going to the gym. Thighs a little bit flabby. By the end of week 2, you're looking pretty shiny. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're committed every day to go. So then you're going to see the results. This ain't no different. So instead of worrying about that, okay, and tiring yourself out on stuff that is just basically not going to work for you, and I'm going to chuck something in here, which is powerful AF that I heard today. If you are worrying, okay, basically what we're doing is worshipping worry. Instead of pitching up at your altar every day, you're pitching up at your other altar, which is your altar for worry. And you are feeding it, and you are worshipping it, and you are giving to it. What the hell? Do you know what I'm saying? I heard this today and I was like, Wow, that's a powerful concept. Going to chuck that in this video. So now let's change that and put all of that energy into somewhere else, right? A better version of that, a highest vibration altar, okay? So now the perks of having an altar: direct telephone line to spirit, okay? To receive and to kind of like ask, all right? And the more you sit with your altar, the stronger that gets. So you create a portal, a place. It's your temple, a special place for you to pitch up every day, right? Your meditations have become easier. You become more inspired. It's much better than just sitting in random places meditating. You know what I mean? This is your temple, right? Number 2, just said it, receiving an offering. Number 3, holds you down, holds your household down. It's an anchor. It's a protective force. You can put oracle cards on there every day to enforce the energy of being powerful, you know, and protected. Okay. And instead of going through all of these exhausting jobs, which just all over the place, get orderly. Remember, energy likes order. Last month was about Ma'at, and it was all about order, structure, getting organized. Okay. This is no different. I've just released a video on ascension ladders. So like this will make sense in a way. This is an ascension ladder, right? Okay, so now the next one, abundance, okay? Power altars. You can make whatever altar you want work, because it's a working altar, to whatever you want it to do. Abundance, get rid of fear, you know, health, relationships, you know what I mean? It's like the list goes on, right? The list goes on. Get super close to a guide. That is one of the biggest things. Like, you know, if you want to get to know a guide that you haven't worked with before, you want to deepen your connection with one, you know, like there ain't no more perfect way than to create an altar, because I'm telling you now, they honor that. They love that you're honoring that. You know, it's deeply respectful. The gods and goddesses go, all right, she's pitching up, you know, deep respect and sacrifice from our side is rewarded. And I went on the equinox. I went and met some sisters down on the beach here, and bearing in mind we were still in a bit of a Cape Town cold winter, and my friend was like, we're doing sunrise and it's very windy here and it can be very cold. She was like, right, we have to be there at 5. And I was like, okay, bring your drum. All right, I don't want to be anywhere at 5 on like crashing waves, freezing cold mid of winter. But I went, and the gifts and the blessings, like, because I pitched up, one of my friends brought through a channel, and they were like, we see each and every one of you here, and we see your commitment and your devotion, and you know, it's reciprocated in every moment. So that's an example of it, you know, giving. This is a way of offering. Okay, so now, like I said, energy brings order. So getting orderly with your space, okay, looking after it like it's your little baby, give it a little bit of a dust off. I spent 3 days away from my altar the other day, and I felt like so disconnected, and I had to go back there and give it a little bit of a smudge and go back in again, because you will lose the connection quite quickly, which is why you got to keep it going, which is a good thing. Keeps you regular, as in not going to the toilet. That sounded like you were going to the toilet. Keeps you committed and consistent. Consistent is a much better word than regular, right? Keeps you consistent. Okay, so keeps you consistent with your practice, right? And you'll feel so much better for it. Now, I've just shared all of that with you. Now, all of a sudden, 5 minutes ago, you were sat at home vibrating, going, oh my God, what's going on? And like now, I've just shared with you the feeling that you will get. And once you pitch up at this altar, all of a sudden, all of this powerlessness that you didn't think you have, you're going to calm right down. Your anxiety is going to be less than, because every day you're going to go and feed your deity, especially if it's a Sekhmet one. She likes you to feed her with all the shadow stuff that you've got going on. Give it to her. She'll love you for it, and then she'll bless you back. So now all of a sudden, when you feel that you are in control in a very healthy way, in conjuring the energy, and kind of like things will just pop into your mind, you start journaling things, and then you just can't wait to sit at your altar, right? Can't wait to sit there and take counsel with your beings, right? What will happen is all of a sudden, all of this fear, anxiety, feeling unsafe, and all the rest of it will start to dissipate super quick. And that's what we need to happen right now, because fear, doubt, is blocking your abundance to come and walk with me in Egypt. It's blocking your abundance to go to the sacred caves in south of France. It's blocking you from getting out there and just, writing books, creating businesses, having projects, having a happy life. Whatever it might be, basically, those are just all expressions of being on top of, in control of, the master of your power, right? So this is so important, right? And then you'll find yourself going less and less to other people's healing circles and hanging on there every word because you already know what the word is. Do you know what I mean? You'll just go there for fun now. You know what I mean? Or just community. Okay, so that is my introduction to the power of the altar. So I'm just going to let you take a beat and take a breath there. And then I'm going to go into stage 2 of how to create an altar. So like any other altar video, we start it with make sure your altar is not around children or animals. Animals will chew your shit, bury your shit, and kids will probably do the same. So let's keep it in a place which is free from that. Create your space, find your space. It could be, you might be in the garden. You know what I mean? That's okay. You could do that. But I think it would probably be better weather allowing to actually have it indoors. Okay. So, you could have it on your bedside table, just a place where you can go where it's not going to be interrupted with other people's energy. Okay. So that's really, really important. So that when you leave it, it's kind of like left in its sacred space, So that's the first thing. Then we have the 4 elements on this altar. So we have earth, fire, air, and water. Earth, put a crystal on there. Fire, candle. Water, sacred water, or water in a little glass thingy where you're going to put your rose in, right? And then you've got air, which is a feather. Okay, so those are your 4 elements, right? So it's really important that we put those on the altar to make sure it's balanced. You may feel called to put a picture of your family on there. You may have ancestors that you want to go on there, meaning great grandparents or whatever, whoever, whatever is special to you. Could be a bracelet that someone gave you. We really don't want to keep it textbook here. We just want to make sure the bones of this altar is balanced with the 4 elements, which we've done. And then whatever you put on there is in honor of your sacred space, right? So now, if you want to take it to the next level and you want to put, and this is going to cross over to the next version of how to spellcast with an altar, but we can put it in this section here. If you want to take it to the next level and you want to spread it out a little bit to the star seed energy, as it were, going beyond your physical family, put a deity on there. Choose one. Merlin, Sekhmet, Hathor, Isis, all of them, whatever, so just, that can be just your space for meditation. And that right there is your very, very starter pack, as it were, for your first altar, right? Now, I encourage you to just go and work with that and see how it feels. However, we are in the intention of creating some major alchemy and some magic and some heka. So as much as I say stay there, I'm kind of like, or go to the next level. So take a beat, take a breath, and let's go on to that next level. So this is what I call the King Kong of altars, right? And I'm having a lot of fun with this, right? So now, here we are. We want to really get proactive with our spiritual path, our ascension, our abundance, our alchemy, our magic. We want to deep dive into our blueprint with all of these hidden gifts and abilities that knows how to do this, because we do. And this is why this next version of altar is so important, because it awakens memory as you're doing it, right? So I have been working with, and I'm just going to use as an example how I've been doing it. I have been working with 2 altars. I've always had my altar here, which is my triple goddesses, but mainly Sekhmet. I've got a huge Sekhmet statue here, and she's always joined on the same part with Isis and Hathor. So I always call it my triple goddesses there, but Sekhmet sits in the front. And it's always just been the altar, like the other version that I spoke about, and that's okay. And it's been super, super powerful. Everything that I love, the AVALONian goddesses and everything like that, they've all got a place there, here and there, maybe a feather from there or whatever. I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's really been quite beautiful just meditating opposite that altar. But now I'm getting proactive with my power, right? And I encourage you to do the same. So now I moved upstairs and I created another altar, right? So I have 2 working altars now. Now I'm going to start with the first working altar upstairs. Now I worked with Ceridwen. Now Ceridwen, I've done a video on her. She's an Avalonian goddess. Well, she's Celtic actually, but she's deeply connected to Avalon. And she is the witch. She's a goddess though. She does turn up as the maiden and a bit of the crone, but she is a goddess. But she works with the cauldron. So of course we all know how I've been talking a lot about cauldrons. I decided to get myself in a little bitty itty cauldron, and I've got a really, really, really big cauldron as well. So I have the 2. I have been having so much fun with my alchemy with working with these cauldrons. So I made a altar with all of the elements I explained in the other section, and then I added on Ceridwen. Now I didn't have a statue, so I used an oracle card, or you can print something off on the internet, right? So in the cauldron, okay, this big cauldron that was at the back, in there I placed 3 gold coins because I made it an abundance altar. This is what I was working with. I put 3 gold coins in there. I put a 50 rand note, which is the currency from here that a friend had taken it all the way to Avalon, brought it back. So it was significant, this note. So I put it in there as well. I placed in a stick of cinnamon because cinnamon is representative of abundance. And in there, I put in a beautiful golden candle because it represented gold, which is abundance. Now, on the candle, I anointed it. And what I did, first of all, I basically carved a symbol in it. I put a $sign on it. So I got my scissors and I carved into the side of the candle a massive $sign. Then I anointed that candle with some sacred oil that was very much to do with Ceridwen. In this case, it was birch, right? And then I rubbed in cinnamon powder into the $sign. So that's how anointing a candle can go. And I put that in the cauldron. So just to confirm, cauldron, I had 3 gold coins, 50 rand note, a stick of cinnamon, and this candle, which I'd now covered in oil, put my cinnamon in there. I was having a great time, so I put it there, right? Then I put a oracle card of Ceridwen, something I could just connect with her that I could visually see, right? And then I gave 2 offerings. I gave seeds because Ceridwen's all about abundance and inspiration and transformation. So I gave her offerings of chia seeds, and then I put in some honey as well. So I put the 2 little offerings there as well, right? And then I had a little cauldron, which is where I put my incense in. So remember, when you give offerings to your altar, using those little charcoal blocks, or just burning incense full stop or whatever, that is deemed as an offering. So every time I sat at my altar, I would light the candle, I would put the offering of incense and I just let it smoke everywhere and I would sit quietly. Now, you can use an invocation or a spell casting prayer for abundance that you have chosen if it is Ceridwen, or you can write one yourself. Now, I love channeling poetry, so I channeled a poetry one, and I also pulled one off my druid teacher, stole his out of his book, and I basically chanted my poem because that was an offering to her, and I chanted my poem for abundance, and which is essentially a spell, and I just had great fun with it, and I chanted it and I had fun with it, and I could just feel her energy all around me, and I sat and then I went into meditation, and that was my protocol every single day. I did that, right? Now, during the time of me doing this abundance altar, this is where I know it works. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it works. So my husband, who is in Zimbabwe because he travels a lot, I'm here in Cape Town. I opened this altar in exactly the way I told you, right? And then I put my husband on the prayer list as well because I also sent the abundance to him, sent it to my sister, and so on and so forth. About 4 days after me doing this abundance spell, okay, he didn't tell me because he didn't want to jinx it. He knew I'd done the altar. He ended up having a client walking into his car business in Zimbabwe and spending a very obscene amount of money on cars. And I'm not even going to disclose how much, but it's like otherworldly. And I was like, okay. And he said, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to jinx it. So it just goes to show it works. Then my sister also told me at the same time when I put her on the altar, she received £450 in her bank account from her bank in shares that she's got that she didn't even know she had. So she also got a monetary payout. And just my own things, just like, just abundance came to me, didn't quite come through the gold coins, but it came in other ways. And me and my husband are a team. So there's different ways that abundance can find you. So really zoom out when it comes to your abundance because it will come to you in different ways. Remember, richness is not just about like paper money, even though in a roundabout way it will get to that. It can be like relationships, friends, people in your space, kind of like, getting better, getting well. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a shift in your health, which could be deemed as abundance. There's all of these things, right? Now, during this time, working with Ceridwen and this altar, okay, now it was very subtle. I didn't have much of an idea on what it was to work with Ceridwen in this way. And I've only just recently embodied her wisdom and magic within my being. So this is kind of like in the past 6 months, a year, she's brand new to me. Now, all of a sudden, I started to get all this memory and wisdom on the moon cycles and how to work with the moons and how to power charge this altar. I started to get ancient memory of what it was to cast spells over and beyond what I've shared with you. And I started to get ancient wisdom about other deities, especially Sekhmet. I started to unlock other wisdom to do with alchemy and Heka in Egypt. So it went beyond Ceridwen, and it rippled out to all of my other areas of what I channel with and I work with. And I'm just like, whew, the portal is open. So this is the absolute extreme that you can actually expect. And this is probably quite minimal in comparison to what you can do. So I would invite you, because now all of a sudden it's brought an element of play. There I am carving into my candle. It's now come away from this desperation and need. I need abundance. And then all of a sudden I'm playing and I'm creating and I've forgotten what I was doing. I was just having fun. And now it's all coming in. So that is a very, very powerful way to work with Ceridwen in a very basic way of how to build an altar. So now I'm going to give you another example of how to build an altar for courage. In my next offering, so as I say, that previous altar I just explained to you is my altar upstairs, right? Now the altar down here, instead of just having it as a normal standard altar, I've now started to work with Sekhmet, Isis and Hathor in spell casting, invocation, calling in all of the things to do with the dispelling of fear. Okay, clearing fear out your space and bringing in courage, right? So now by working with the three goddesses, how would that look like? Well, you'd have 3 different candles, right? So for Isis, she has a white candle. For Sekhmet, she has a red candle. And for Hathor, she has a gold candle. You know what I mean? Or a blue one. Go with your intuition, right? So you can also carve symbols. It may be like, I don't know, a heart for, a heart for Isis. It may be the stars for Hathor. And maybe you put a flame on the other candle. Do you know what I mean? But you can actually have a whole lot of fun with this. And I don't want to fill the blanks in for you too much, because this is just an example on how to do a triple goddess spell casting altar invocation in a very basic way, and then I want you to fill in the blanks. Okay, so with Isis, she will bring like the deep healing. With Sekhmet, she brings the fire to clear any fear and turn it into courage. And then with Hathor, she brings the joy, the laughter, the fun. So think about those 3 blends in actually overarching thing here is dispelling fear, so you can move forward and just be expressive in the world. So you can get your real alchemist on by working with maybe 2 deities, maybe 3. I wouldn't go more than 3. I think 4 might be a little bit overboard, but remember 3 is initiation, 3 is balance, because we can go knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, or we can go, intention plus action equals creation. 3 is always a magic number. So I wouldn't go beyond 3. So I'd go to 1 to 3, So that's what I'm doing with this altar now, okay? And I've got all of my elements on there, my earth, fire, water, air, okay? And then, I'm just looking at it because it's there. And then I'm going to actually really open up this altar in the next few days, because I've already kicked off that one upstairs. So I'm excited to see how that goes, right? So this one here with Sekhmet, okay, she's going to be probably the driving force with the fire and everything like that. But then Isis and Hathor weave. So the way that we've put this altar together, right, is through the candles. So basically the anointing of the candles is key. So you're going to go on and you're going to go and research what is Isis's essential oil, what is Sekhmet's, what is Hathor's, and there's going to be many, many different ideas for that, but go with your intuition always, right? Now, that is going to be dispelling fear so I can be creative. I would advise that you don't do, if you're going to do 2 altars, try to make them quite different in their spell casting, because if you make them too similar, like you do one for abundance, one to it gets too messy. The energy and the frequency gets messed up. You're going to start to miss major messages from those deities, and it needs to be different. So think about the altar I've done here with the triple goddesses. That's going to support my abundance, and the abundance is going to support my triple goddesses down here. One is for dispelling of fear, and the other one is for for abundance. So very, very, very cool way to actually work with these gods and goddesses in invocating, spell casting. The power is within you. The power is within you. I'm like, give me 4 weeks. Give me 4 weeks doing this. Tell me that your life hasn't changed. Tell me. I dare ya. So now, where do I get my resources from? Okay. Now, the thing is, I just want to say, like I said before, Don't take it too seriously. Go with your intuition. Try come away from the textbook. So if one thing that you read on spell casting says you need to have this color candle, that color candle, don't sweat it. I mean, I didn't have a certain color candle today, and I thought, well, gold should be fine because gold is about abundance and gold is Egyptian. You know what I mean? So don't worry about it. Go with your own intuition and then use it as a basic guideline and then filter off. Now, it is a little bit overboard, so I'm not going to put too much in here about the moon phases yet because I want you to get right with this. So I don't want to clog the space too much. I would like you to kind of start working on this now. But once you've got on top of this, I'm then going to, well, I'm sharing the moon phases on here anyway, which by the time we've done this month's cycle, there's going to be a written post on YouTube, which will explain to you what each moon cycle is all about. So what's going to happen now is your next phase is once you've got on top of this, then you're going to start to align your journaling and your creation codes and your Heka and your magic with the moon cycles. So for example, we're on the new moon right now. So a lot of people think it's an action phase. It's actually not. That's why it's called the dark moon. It's like quiet, you know, some people will tell otherwise, but I kind of feel that it's more of a quiet space, you know, getting clear on your intentions. You know, what are we doing for this month's cycle? And only in about 3-4 days when we move into the next mini phase, as I call it, will we start to get more action based. Now, this will actually help you understand your system as to why you get exhausted, you drain, because you're pushing an elephant up the hill 24/7 all the way throughout the month. But that's not how manifestation is supposed to be. So that is what your altar is going to teach you. That is what the deities and the gods and goddesses who are on your altar is going to be able to open the channels here to show you and teach you and remind you that you know these rhythms, you know these cycles, the sacred cycles, and you know how to do this, right? So your next phase will be to actually look at the moon cycles and then work in conjunct with that, in alignment with that, okay? Now, the final thing, which is so not spiritual and just so left field, I got asked the other day, you know, can't you do like a new moon journal or a moon journal or something like that? And to be honest, you know, I'm many things. I'm so multidimensional, which is why this YouTube has got so many subject matters on here. I mean, I can talk about anything. So I don't really hone into one lane, as it were. But the moon things and everything like that, I don't think I need to go into a journal because I just think go into somewhere like Etsy. You get these printable versions, which are like $5, $10, whatever. It's not a lot. And if you really want to, you can just download that, but use it as a guide, right? Because I don't think you need to go and waste any money on all these fancy journals because you've got this intrinsic wisdom within you anyway. You just need a guide, which I'm doing on YouTube as well, on when to go and when to pull back and when to be still and when to rest when it comes to your manifestation moon phases, right? The other thing is, any information that you want, ideas on spell casting, if you're not quite sure what spell to use, if you're not quite sure on any of the deities or what their oils are or what their special tree is, ChatGPT, best thing ever. Best thing ever. It's quick. It confirms super quick things, and it's always so accurate and so spot on. But I encourage you again, don't go too textbook with it. Just give it as a little bit of a guidance and then let your intuition, your creativity, your inner god or goddess then show you the way. So I'm telling you now, you're going to have a lot of fun with this, okay? And I'm just kicking off this magic because, like I say, this is the month of ascension ladders for me. And this is about getting, pitching up to the party, claiming your power, being in control of your journey because you can, you have the power. Yes, you do. And you know how to do this. Absolutely. So with that being said, young Skywalker, may the force be with you. Please do let me know how you get on. And if you've got any questions, bounce them off. But yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.